Welcome
to Shamba Shape Up Uganda.
We are traveling all over Uganda to find hardworking farmers.
We want to celebrate them while giving them the knowledge they need
to make their farms more productive and adapt to climate change.
We want to support them to get better yields and increase their income.
We will see how farmers can benefit from our experts' advice and turn their farms around into a profitable business,
while learning from each other in so many ways.
Join us on these journeys and share in the farmers' experience
on the Shamba Shape Up Uganda.
Oh, Mr. Michael.
Hey. Yes, we have been waiting for you.
Thank you. Frobisha, Agi. Yes.
Good to see you, Mr. Michael.
Okay.
Hello, are these or your grandchildren?
Yes, they are my twins.
Hey.
Last born.
13.
13 kids?
Yeah, 13 kids.
13.
That is big.
Yeah. What are you doing?
Well, let's go and see your farm. You live Agi.
Welcome to Shamba Shape Up Uganda.
Today, we're in Kasaana village in Masaka, and we're visiting a very hard-working farmer, Mike Ssemaganda, on his 22-acre farm.
Mike has 13 children and only stopped having more when his 3-year-old twins were born.
Mike sees big, both for family and farm.
And you would think COVID would slow him down, but no, on the contrary.
COVID was a bit good for us because we used to pay a lot of money in schools, around 15 million per term. But during time of COVID, we are not paying fees. We had food for our children. Hey, I also bought land, 81 acres. 2 years, it was a long time to help us to earn money.
Thanks to COVID, he has an additional 81 acres, 54 kilometers away from his home, where he keeps his 13 dairy cows and 50 goats. For now, remember, this farmer sees big.
But we are going to concentrate on this 22-acre farm here, where he has coffee plantations and 1,700 chickens. I am sure he has challenges, so we are going to look into that.
And who better than our expert, Michael Omol from CKL Africa, to help us improve these chickens' lives.
Hey,
Angelo, the expert.
Yeah.
How are you?
Good.
Good to see you. Hi.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mike,
Yes.
Yeah.
this is our expert, Michael.
I'm glad
Mike
to see
and
you,
Michael.
sir.
And we share names. Very good.
I can leave you to handle this.
Of course.
Good.
Because I know you can't handle this.
It's okay. Let me go have a cup of coffee.
Okay, have a good time.
Okay, please.
We want to see the birds today.
Yeah.
Get to see what.
See what you have to say.
Whoa. No foot, but.
Okay. But you have come the expert.
Uh-oh, our expert is not impressed. There is no foot bath. Let's hear the rest. Mike has 1,700 birds in 5 chicken houses. In this one, there are 300 chicks. And our expert's first question is about their feed.
How much
And
do you feed them?
I feed them 40 kilograms by the percentage of 105 grams per bird.
Per bird. These layer birds should take about 110 to 120 grams per day. I don't know, what exactly is in the feed?
In the feed, we usually mix concentrate, we mix with broken chachu, and the lime.
So I will say the kind of feed you have is good in terms of providing the basic energy, but we are lacking on an aspect of minerals and we are lacking on an aspect of vitamins. I have a product here which is called Diamond V. Diamond V is having an aspect of vitamins, and it's going to help you as well to improve the immunity of the birds. It is also going to help the birds in breaking down the feeds properly. So when you use Diamond V together with the mixtures that you've been having in your feed, then you're improving on an aspect which you're missing on that we have talked about, the vitamins, yeah? So the birds will get to eat well, they get to have better immunity, and that is meaning they're going to give you better production. At times you have your birds are laying, maybe you're getting 3 trays today, tomorrow you're getting 1 tray, another day you're getting 2 trays. So it gives you a consistent, it's a uniform production for your birds, yes. You get better quality eggs, eggs that are not weak in terms of their shells. They are not small in size, so they are of good size. When you're having cases of diseases around and your birds are on Diamond V, they don't fall ill easily.
You mean this one? I must mix it when I'm mixing the food?
Yes, when you're mixing the feed. So this Diamond V, 1.25 kilograms, you mix it in 1 ton of the feed that you're mixing. Yes. Yes.
You have wrote it today. You have seen it. Now where to get it?
It's a good question, by the way. All the drug shops around here, all the feed stores around in where you're residing, you can get them from Masaka Vet Center.
Yes. That how do you see our feeders? Are they in the good position?
Yes. The best position for the birds to eat is the feeder should just be above the back of the birds, so that when they are feeding, they don't go so low or maybe they don't stretch so highly. And from what I can see, it's in the right position, and the birds are feeding in the best way.
How do you see our system of drinking?
The system of drinking, I'll say, Bona Mike, that is where we are having a challenge in the house. You know, the birds will drink more water than the food they eat. So one important thing is they should have a constant supply of the water, which should be very clean, pure water, no bacteria, no contamination in terms of the sawdust or maybe the birds even pooping on them. You will need to have the waterers raised to the back line of the birds, such that the birds can easily drink water at a point up. When you're using such kind of a system, you see the birds are struggling to take the water, so they have to bend too low to get the water. But that is not the ideal. The ideal is they have to just be up, take the water, just above them, so they drink the water from there. They easily consume the water in such a position other than in this kind of a position. So they are struggling. They are struggling to get the water. So you'll find they are not taking enough water because it is hard for them to reach to the water that they need to drink. It is important to also note that the water should at least be cold. The birds tend to drink more when it's cold other than when it is warm. The more they drink, the more they eat, because they don't have any kind of way of softening the feed. So they depend on the water. The other bit is the drinkers should be positioned after every feeder. So there is a feeder, then you're having a drinking water. So that the birds will eat and then they just turn and
drink and then go back to eat as well.
You don't need to put the waters in a far position because you don't want the birds to walk more than 1.5 meters. Yeah?
Yes.
When they do that, they're losing a lot, and if they don't get enough to drink, they easily choke out of it. So position the waters in a better way possible, and then you get to see better results out of it. Yeah.
Let's cross on to the next chicken house. In this one, there are 900 3.5-month-old chicks, and they are approaching laying time. That's more eggs for our farmer. But here, COVID wasn't that favorable to him.
We usually get traders of eggs from Rwanda. Now they had stopped the border. We had no customers from Rwanda coming here at Masaka. The customers who were coming, they were from Kenya, a long distance. Now they were buying us for a cheap price. They have said about opening the border. Now the consumers will come.
So, things are looking up again. But coming back to our chicken, what does our expert Michael Omol think of this house?
When we were coming in, we didn't get an easy place to do what we call disinfection.
Yes.
There is what we call hygiene for the birds.
Yes.
The birds easily fall sick because of kinds of bacteria that are found from outside.
Yes.
So today I will recommend you get to use a product called Coopicide.
Yes.
It when you're trying to disinfect the area, the water, and even getting the foot bath, whereby now if somebody is entering the house, they have to disinfect their feet. Today we had to do it in a different way, but now you need to have it at the entrance. You see, just at the door, you need to have water which is having a disinfectant, a highly effective disinfectant against bacteria, against viruses, against any fungi that may come into the poultry house. With the foot bath, it can last you for up to 7 to 14 days when it is still working properly, even if the water is soiled, but the disinfectant is still very active.
Yes.
Number 2, you can use it in the drinking water. As we talk about, the water has to be very pure and clean. So you can always disinfect your water to remove such kind of bacteria as E. coli. You can also use it to do what we call fogging or fumigation. Now the birds are inside the house like this,
You spray?
and then you just spray. It helps to clear what we call the gastro system of the birds. So any kind of infection that may enter, it's clean away from the birds. With Cooperside, if we're going to use it now on the drinking water, we are using a very low dosage of 10 ml in every 30 liters of water. When you're going to do the foot bath, we use 100 ml of the Cooperside in 10 liters of water. When you're going to use now the routine disinfection, where you want now to clean your house and make it spraying, and so you get to use 25 ml of the Cooperside in the same 10 liters of water.
10 liters.
Yes.
What I want to know, how often should I spray the house?
It is recommended, one, when you're having any kind of infection you realize is in your poultry house, then you can get to spray.
Okay.
Number 2, you can make it a routine practice of at least every month you're doing the fumigation of your poultry house, yes? And you make sure, since these birds are the ones which are going to lay, try to also disinfect the nests.
The nest.
Because the nests are much more prone to even those bacteria. They get to breed better in such kind of a situation.
What I wanted to know, these asks, are they safe for me to use them or they are not safe?
Whenever you're introducing any kind of material in the flock, then it has to be disinfected. So when you're bringing them in, you have to disinfect them first. So, Bwana Mike, when you have taken care of that proper hygiene, and we are coupling this one to the good house structure you're having, which is well ventilated, now you're having very good flow of air, and then your hygiene is in a good condition, then you should have birds which are healthy throughout, yeah?
Okay.
So they will lay more if they are healthy, and they will give you better results at the end of it all.
But first things first, let's hang those new drinkers our makeover expert Caris brought and see how that works for the chicken.
The chickens are also happy. The speed they are taking the water, it's very high. You can find them quarreling on a drinker, whereas it was not there on the basin. Yeah, now we have seen that our hygiene was a bit poor. Now we are improving.
Too many chicken. But they are busy. Okay, I'll take you to the coffee plantation, but after the break. Welcome back. Welcome back
to Shamba Shape
Up Uganda. We are in Kasaana village in Masaka, and we are visiting a very hard-working farmer, Mike Ssemaganda, on his 22-acre farm.
We have focused on his chicken and took care of their hygiene and nutrition.
Now we are going to see how we can help him out with his coffee plantations. Mike has 20 acres of coffee. True to character, he's planning to expand. According to our coffee expert, Andrew Magombe of Cafe Africa, he has mastered the basic agronomic practices in this 8-year-old plantation. However,
I can see one big challenge. This is right here, the coffee wilt disease. This tree alone can act as a source that can destroy the whole garden if not managed. It is very dangerous. Normally farmers look at the tree when it is already dry.
oh yes,
And they ignore it at this stage. But this is a good example of a tree that is starting to show the signs of coffee wilt disease. The disease, I can relate it to AIDS. Now, what you should know is that this one has no cure, just like AIDS does no cure.
Okay.
But for the spread, it spreads through, especially using of infected tools. When you get a tool like this one, and you use it on your coffee
yes.
to prune, then you go to another coffee plant and do the same. You are transmitting the disease. You as a farmer, unknowingly, you see? What do you use for cutting the...
Well, I usually use a pang and the axe.
And the axe to cut?
Yeah.
Then after cutting?
I just move to another tree.
So who is spreading it?
I am the one. What are the control measures of it?
The first thing is that you should disinfect your tools. Disinfected with spirit. You can either use spirit or jig. But when you use jig, you dilute it a bit with water. 1 measure or part of jig to 5 of water. So disinfect your tools before and after using on every tree.
But I use the system of cutting the whole of it. I just cut the trees, I put them there.
And they
I
dry.
just leave them there.
What about the stem?
The stems are there.
Is it a problem?
What is recommended is that stump should be uprooted.
removed.
Oh, as
You
well.
uproot the whole tree actually.
Okay.
Cut it and burn. If it is still not yet dry like this, uproot it, chop it, allow it to dry, gather all these leaves and that are the branches that have fallen in one place, and when it is dry, burn it from within the area.
So are we burning the tree with these beautiful berries on it?
The berries, it is a sacrifice.
Oh.
You may maintain this to allow the berries ripen as you pick, but your worker, one of your worker, may come and ignorantly work on this with the tool and go to another.
Okay.
So the earlier you uproot it, the better.
To save the plantation.
With these berries on.
With the berries on, this is money.
The better thing to get the others, I
Yes.
must remove this.
You sacrifice this,
Yeah,
a
I
little
save
of this
the
to save them more.
Yeah.
If you have uprooted this
Yes.
and you want to replace, you replace or you replant with the new resistant colonal varieties.
It will take me how long to bring the other to plant?
Okay, from the time of uprooting this.
Yes.
3 to 4 weeks is not bad because the roots that are there will have also dried and rotted. Maybe the other thing to remember is that farmers at times go to the coffee factories and bring the coffee husks
Yes.
Yes.
to put in the gardens as manure. So that one can also be another source of bringing the infection. We'll see a tree like this one,
Yes.
infected, but it has still very good berries.
Berries, yes.
So they pick and those things end up in the factory. So if you have these old varieties of Robusta, it is advisable not to use to bring in those coffee husks.
I have a farm where I have the birds. Sometimes use coffee husks. From the factory to the house.
I like this.
Now it takes almost a year when they are there. Now when I remove them from the house there, I bring them here. Are they still harmful?
So that 1 year period, as the coffee is in the poultry house, any possible fungus that is there will have broken down. Okay? So those ones.
Now that one you
that will
recommend
be
it.
safe. Yeah, that one is safe.
Mike is not one to put all his eggs in the same basket because he also relies on his livestock manure that he brings in from his newly bought land. But when it comes to coffee and chicken, the two are inseparable in his mind.
I can get money from coffee because the chicks can give me the manure to put in the coffee. So the jobs can borrow each other. I can get the coffee husks, I put them in the chicks. Then I remove them. When they are already manure, I put them on the coffee. Each one helps each other.
2 years ago, Mike planted new Robusta varieties in an acre and is testing it with a new spacing method. Instead of 10 feet from one row to another and 10 feet from one tree to another, he has used 10 feet from one row to another and 5 feet from one tree to another. Like this, he could plant more trees and expects to get a better yield.
Where did you get this spacing, the 10 feet by 5 feet?
I got it to someone, but for him, he had planted 10 to 3.
Oh, you had planted even much closer.
Closer. But for me, when I came, I say,
You also
no.
adjusted.
Yeah. Yes.
So can I say this is Mikey's spacing
Yeah, it's mine.
also? What about the other 10 by 10? What made you move away from it? The usual 10 feet by 10 feet. And this one I can see you have one tree. And the 10 by 10 you have normally 3 trees.
Yes. I have one, but you can get one with more yield than 3. Because you can see this space here, no weed there. The money you are putting in the garden, it comes lower. Whereas there, you have big spaces. You are always weeding, spraying, weeding because of the space.
I like the fact that Mike is trying out on a smaller scale, which is 1 acre so far.
Yes.
But your plan is to expand it to 20 acres.
Yes.
These new varieties, normally before they produce them, the researchers at the National Research Institute first do experiment. They try them. One of the things they test is that they look at a spacing where if the plant grows, it can be able to have enough light and aeration so that the conditions are not favorable for the pests and diseases to develop. So for these new Robusta cuttings, the recommendation given by research was 10 feet by 10 feet. Each one can grow about 4 feet. So when it grows to 4 feet and 4 feet, that is 8.
Yes.
You are left with 2.
Yes.
2 is for you to work, to move and spray and pick, so it gives you an allowance of space.
Okay.
But also there's room to avoid congestion or interlocking. So reduced pests and diseases. Now when you put 5 by 5, it is 2 years. What do you think it will be when it makes 3 and 4 years?
It will congest.
It will interlock. So when it interlocks, twig borer, pests and diseases will enter there. There's already twig borer starting. I can see some plants. Okay?
Yes.
But the real spacing of 10 by 10 was designed in such a way that you make 10 by 10, then you bend the tree to give you more 3 trees.
Yes.
Okay? 10 by 10 gives you 450 trees in an acre. Now, if you allow each tree to have 3, then you multiply by 3. You get 1,350 trees in 1 acre. This spacing of yours of 5 feet
5 by 10.
by 10 feet is going to give you about 888 trees in 1 acre.
When I was planning to plant these ones, I had 2 issues. The first issue is to see whether this garden will work. When it can't work, to cut 1 tree in the middle, to remain with the 10 by 10.
This is a very wise formula.
Now, how will I get the 3 ones?
After you have harvested your coffee, okay? You get down to the stump, closer to the stem, and wound it. You can wound it with a panga or a pruning saw. You wound it, and you wound it from the side where the sunlight raises from, eastward. So that that morning sun, as it gets to the wounded part, and as the wounded part tries to heal, it will induce some suckers. So those suckers are the ones that you'll allow to grow. And with time, you'll have the main one plus 2 others to allow 3. Yeah?
I made it as a demonstration. And when you are making a demonstration, you need to get other people to help you to see whether your dream will go on, whether you will change. Now, help me. I'm going to change and go to the system of 10 by 10.
But before that, let's get rid of the black coffee twig borers that are already in this 1 acre plantation. Cut the dead twigs, put them in a sack, take them out of the garden and burn them. Otherwise, they will multiply. And I know that Mike's dream will continue whether it's one system or another.
The dream won't stop because there is these daughters and the sons. The dream will go on moving, because for us, we don't want anybody in our family to be poor. Poor is an abuse. So many things can come to someone who is poor. So the dream won't stop. It will move on.
Our work here is done, and we'll just borrow the twins. They're too cute to resist.
Mr. Mike, thank you very much for everything. Hope for the best in the future.
We'll see you very soon. And we hope
Let me just say goodbye.
we'll see you in the next Shamba Shape Up.
This one.